Yes, Capital Television viewers, today we have very pleasant guests here, big guests in soccer as well as in other business here. We have Sanjay Rugani, Chief Executive Officer of Standard Chartered. Welcome, Mr. Sanjay.
Thank you.
And the guest of honor today, we have none other than John Barnes, former, the legend of football, some of the legend of football in Liverpool and England. Welcome to the show, Mr.
Sante.
Yeah, can you first tell us why Mr. John Barnes is here? Mr. Sanjay.
Oh, Mr. John Barnes is here because, he's a great friend. No, but let me get a bit serious. So Standard Chartered Bank sponsors Liverpool. We've been sponsoring them since 2012 and we've got a contract till 2019. And as part of that, one of the things we do is we do football clinics, football engagements across the world. So we're very privileged to have John Barnes here. It's also very exciting because this year Standard Chartered Bank Tanzania has completed 100 years since we first opened our doors in Tanzania. So it's the oldest institution that you could have had. As part of the celebrations, what we're doing is, and this is happening across the world, that in Tanzania, 32 teams, went through the Standard Chartered Trophy. It's called Standard Chartered Trophy Road to Anfield. So last weekend there was a tournament. The winning team that came out of it is going to play versus Uganda and Kenya tomorrow. And the winning team that comes out of that game will be taken to Anfield. They'll spend a few days in the month of May, and spend time with the legends. They'll do a tour of certainly Anfield, and they will play the global football tournament there. So the global finals will happen in Liverpool itself. On the pitch.
At Anfield.
At Anfield.
Yes, I don't know if there's going to be 50,000 people, but it's going to be on the pitch. So it's a good experience.
Yeah, well, I can say I've been a fan of your soccer days because I'm too young to be a fan of when you were playing. But I'm definitely a fan of how you analyze sports. And thank God there's YouTube. I've seen your goals. Can you tell Tanzanians a little bit about where you come from, your origin, and how you grew up?
Well, I grew up in Jamaica till I was 13 years old, and then my father was a diplomat. He got sent to England as military attaché for 4 years, so the family went for 4 years. And then when I was 17, my father got recalled back to Jamaica, so my father, mother, sisters went back to Jamaica, and I just stayed to play for Watford, my first club, so I stayed ever since. So my family are now back in Jamaica. They have been for the last 40 years, 35 years, and I just stayed to play football in England.
Yeah. But your father was also a footballer.
My father, although he was a colonel in the army and he's military attaché, he played football for Jamaica, and later on he managed the Jamaica Football Association, managed the Jamaica team, and he became president of the Jamaica Football Federation. So as much as a lot of people feel that cricket is the #1 sport in the West, and I suppose in many respects it is, as a young boy growing up, I always played football. In Barbados and Antigua and places like that, cricket obviously. And of course Jamaica, they played cricket as well. But football for me was the most important thing.
Yeah, like we in Tanzania too, football is among the
Well,
most
the problem you have here
Yeah.
is because it's in East Africa alongside Kenya, and Kenya, Tanzania,
And
Ethiopia, they feel that they're long distance runners.
Yes.
They feel that the footballers in Africa come from West Africa,
Yes.
from Nigeria and Ghana and Ivory Coast. But I've been coming to this part of the world. I've been here 3 times, but I've also been to Kenya, been to Ethiopia, and I know how much football is loved. I know how much people love football. So it's important for the rest of the world to understand that. And I suppose Victor Wanyama and Divock Origi from Kenya has opened people's eyes that East Africa also loves football.
Yeah, and we can be better in that.
Absolutely.
You're also going to see our under-17 boys, we call them Serengeti boys, in their clinic. They have met to the African Cup of Nations. How do you think that will help?
Yeah, well, I'd like to congratulate them because, of course, qualifying for the AFCON is very difficult. Yeah. People don't understand how good African teams are, and of course, for the under-17 boys to qualify, that's very good. But it's a start, and yes, it could be fantastic if they could go and win and do well, but it's an experience. And what you can't do is that if all of a sudden they don't win it, be too disappointed and say, well, it's a waste of time. You have to grow slowly, which is obviously what we're trying to do at Liverpool in terms of, yes, we want to win the league, but as long as we can challenge for a top 4 spot and then later on we can go on and progress, that's the important thing. Rather than if you're not successful straight away, to give up.
Yeah, let's get back to Mr. Sanjay. Mr. Sanjay, how many people are going to go to Anfield?
So the teams typically are a 5-a-side team. But each team has got 7 players. It will be 7 players and the coach that will go to Anfield. let's not forget Tanzania is just one of the countries, but you know they come from Hong Kong, Singapore, all over the world, and that's where the global finals.
And let's not forget that Tanzania, first of all, has to win tomorrow.
Correct.
Don't forget their team from Kenya,
absolutely,
and Uganda.
So the finalist has to win, absolutely.
Yeah, and who is allowed to come watch the final? Because I know a lot of people, including myself, would like to come see the legend there.
No,
too.
certainly, you know, you and your troop will be there.
We'll be there, yeah.
But we've got quite a few fans who've come in from Kenya and Uganda. We'll certainly have the diaspora, the Ugandan diaspora and the Kenyan diaspora, you know, there. But besides that, it's really going to be our teams. You know, a lot of the other teams that were there in the previous games. We'll have clients and many members. We've taken a lot of registration, so it's a whole host of different people, and certainly a lot from the media.
And of course, when whoever wins to go through to Anfield, in the past, for example, the team from Kenya has been there in the last 2 years. They have taken 20 to 30 people over with them.
Okay.
Of course, you have the 7 players, the coach, but they've also had 30 people who've gone over because it's a great experience for them also. So of course, if the Tanzanian team goes through, I expect a few Tanzanians to come across.
Yeah, it will be good. It will be good to go to Anfield. I myself cannot say if I'm a fan of Liverpool or not, but to be in Anfield is every sports fans or soccer fans wish. One other question now, Liverpool. Let's get back to Liverpool. You have had managerial experience with the Jamaican team, right? The Reggae Boys. First of all, how did it end?
It was a fantastic experience. I coached them for 1 year, and we have 12 games, and we won 9 and drew 3, so we were unbeaten. But it was only a 1-year contract, and due to, as you will know in this part of the world, politics and sport doesn't normally mix, so we had a few political challenges. So therefore, I didn't renew my contract. But in terms of the football itself, it was fantastic.
Yeah, and
12 games, unbeaten. The team did well. The players were strong. The players were disciplined. So it was a great experience.
You planning to have any other managerial role?
I would like to, but it's very hard to get into managerial roles. It's harder to stay in, as you know. So it's not a question of me planning. It has to have a plan for me.
Yeah, but if the opportunity comes,
if the opportunity comes, absolutely, I would look at it 100%.
You have any role in Liverpool right now?
No, just an ambassadorial role, but that's not in the technical side with the football. But obviously, I do stuff for Standard Chartered. Yes. But not on the technical side, not on the footballing side.
Yeah. So, what's your advice to Tanzania, the football federation? You have been here 3 times. You have heard a little bit about soccer. What's your advice to us?
Well, the advice to Tanzania, you know, when people ask me about, first of all, the advice I give to youngsters, young footballers, it's the same to young people about the dedication, the discipline, and the determination necessary, not just your talent. Now, football administrations are slightly different, particularly in Africa, because if you look at what is necessary for the football administrations I'll use South Africa as an example. You have to have the balance right between developing the local league and looking at the national team. Now in England, they can go hand in hand because there's lots of money involved. We've got lots of players, lots of English players, foreign players coming in. Whereas to develop the South African, let's talk Nigeria. To develop the Nigerian league, you need to have an infrastructure, you need to have investment, you need to have players to make that league stronger. However, to make the national team stronger, you need to get your best players to go abroad, to play in Europe. So, as much as the difference in Europe is that you can keep your best players staying in England playing for the clubs and make the national team strong. So, do you think that the Ivory Coast national team would be strong if the Didier Drogbas and Yaya Toure stayed in Ivory Coast to play for the local teams? It wouldn't. They have to go abroad to get the experience to improve. Yeah. So it's a much more challenging here in terms of developing the league. The Tanzanian Football Federation has to develop the league by meaning that you need to empower the teams. But you can't afford to keep your best players here. To make the national team strong, you've got to get them the exposure of going to play abroad, like with Kenya, like Divock Origi and Wanyama. If they stayed in Kenya,
they wouldn't be.
Maybe they'd be good for the national team, but they wouldn't improve. They'd be good for the league. So the challenge is to get the balance right. But unfortunately, the solution to that is really they have to focus on the national team first to get the interest from a European perspective. So lots of Europeans are now interested in Kenya because of Origi and Wanyama. Whereas, yes, you do have to concentrate on your league, but you do have to try and get your best players to be going to playing in Europe.
Yeah, well, if you're just joining in, I'm Sebastian Kolowa and this is Sports Gazette. And today we have very special guests here. We have Mr. Sanjay Rugani from the Standard Chartered, and we also have the legend, John Barnes. Mr. Sanjay, is there anything coming after this, the road to Anfield?
Well, this is our 100th year, like I said, and there's a lot of other things coming. You know, Standard Chartered Bank is involved in a lot of community projects. We had Sing is Believing 2 weeks ago, where we closed the project for last year, and we've just established a new project. Now it's football. Next month I'm bringing my group management team here, and it's going to be around contribution to Tanzania and how we support the fifth phase government in their agenda. We still have 7, 8 other things happening. You know, we are in a competitive world, so that's what I will say for now.
Yeah. We get your analysis in ESPN. One of the guys, one of the girls here was asking me, "Is this the guy from TV?" Yeah, he's the one. Yeah. Now your analysis of, short analysis maybe of how Liverpool is doing right now. It started well, and then now it looks like it's losing more points to smaller teams as it was expected.
What I said at the start of the season is that Liverpool will challenge for 4th spot.
Yeah.
We were maximising our potential at that time, but most teams go through a dip in form as the season goes on, and we've had our dips, and now that's what we're going to challenge for. Obviously, Jurgen Klopp is a fantastic manager, and he has to be given the opportunity, and we have to give him the trust to improve the squad. And as much as people were disappointed that we didn't make signings in January, January is not a time to make signings because you don't get the best players in January. So we've had a dip, but I trust Jurgen Klopp to make the right decisions, and we will challenge for 4th because we have to try and get back in the Champions League. And if it doesn't happen, what we have to do next year is trust the manager, stick with him, show the belief and the togetherness that we could come back. And I always say that if we stick together and we support, we don't know what we can achieve. And I use Liverpool as an example. In the Champions League in 2006 against AC Milan. If the fans booed the team when we were 3-0 down, as most fans would, we would have lost. Yeah. Now, coming back to Africa, I always use this as an example. And we see Liverpool 3-0 down to AC Milan, who were a superior team with superior players, losing 3-0, and we came back to win. And I always say, if that was an African team losing 3-0, would they have come back to win? And it's not because they're not capable, it's because of the belief, the determination, and the togetherness. So from Liverpool's perspective, that is what we need. So Liverpool fans who are now disappointed because we were 1st in November and now we're 4th. Don't be too yes, be disappointed, however, be realistic in how good we actually are, and know that with Jurgen Klopp we can improve, we can get better as long as we believe in him and stick together.
Yeah, you always remember the goals you scored from a free kick, right? I heard you saying that once. But what's your most memorable moment as a Liverpool player?
My whole 10 years at Liverpool.
All 10 years.
All 10 years. There have been individual moments of brilliance, and there are times when we didn't do too well. But I think if you want to show your character, your true character in terms of what you've achieved and the person you are, it has to be consistency over a period of time. To use Leicester as an example, Leicester won the league last year, and they hadn't done anything for the previous 50 years, and they may do nothing for the next 50 years. So does that show who Leicester are? No, it doesn't. It shows that was a one-off, which can happen, but to show your quality, it has to be over a period of time. So my whole 10 years, there are individual moments, winning the league and Player of the Year and stuff like that, but for me, my whole 10 years at Liverpool is my most memorable moment.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Barnes. Hope to have you again in Tanzania, and we hope to have you again here in Sports Gazette. Thank you, Mr. Sanjay.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I'm Sebastian Kolowa. We were talking to John Barnes, Liverpool and England legend. He also coached the Reggae Boys. You have to give us a little bit of a rap. Can you give us you was a rapper.
I was a rapper?
Yeah.
Was I when I was a player? I was a rapper.
Yeah, because if you rap you rap in one song, you're a rapper.
I said a hip hop, a hippie, the hip hop. You don't stop the rockin' to the bang bang boogie. Say up jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Now what you hear is not a test. I'm rapping to the beat. And me, the groove, and your friends are gonna try to move your feet. You see, I am Wonder Mike, and I'd like to say hello to the black, to the white, the red, and the brown, the purple, and the yellow. But first, I gotta bang, bang to the boogie, say up, jump the boogie to the bang, bang, boogie, let's rock. You don't stop, rock the rhythm, that'll make your body rock. Well, so far you've heard my voice, but I brought 2 friends along, and next on the mic is my man Sans. Come on, Sans, sing that song.
Boo, boo, boogie, boogie, boogie. Let's rock
Thank
it
you,
tomorrow.
there you go.
Thank you.
Yeah. As I say, once a rapper, always a rapper. Now you can't lie to us that you're not a rapper. That was John Barnes.
Just don't ask me to play football.
Yeah. But you have charity matches that you play.
Does it look like it? Yeah. Have you not seen the size of my belly now? I haven't played for a while, but once I get fit, I'll come back and play.
Man, thank you very much for being here. That's John Barnes, viewers of Sports Gazette, and he ends our show for today. On behalf of everybody who took part in preparing it, I'm your host Sebastian Kolowa saying bye-bye. Just keep on watching Capital Television.